Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishna. Lessons for Life from Swami Jagdatmananda's inspiring bestseller Learn to Live, Volume 2, Chapter 1, Give Up Worries and Anxieties. Discussion on the episode Forging a Bond is being continued. Among men, there are those who spend most of the time in sleep. There are others who spend time in work. There are still others who are inclined to deep thinking and meditation. All people sleep. All have the experience of deep sleep. But not all have the same duration of sleep. Some require long hours of sleep. They are never eager to get up from bed. Some can manage with 6 hours of sleep per day. Nikola Tesla, a great scientist, is said to have remained awake continuously for 76 hours in the laboratory doing research. Swami Vivekananda once told his disciples how once in the days of his mendicancy he had spoken continuously for 3 days without going to sleep, and thus set up almost a superhuman record. There is a great variety in the way in which people learn and listen. People of one time see others suffering. People of one type see others suffering as a result of some errors committed and take care to avoid committing the same errors. Some take a lesson from personal experience of suffering after having committed a folly. There is another group of people who, in spite of suffering as a result of mistakes committed, never learn a lesson and go on committing the same follies. Even the feeling of dispassion or detachment has its variations. There is the momentary dispassion resulting from the influence of listening to a religious discourse. There is the temporary renunciation of pleasures after witnessing the death of a dear one. Sometimes women feel like giving up sense pleasure when they experience severe labor pain. Economically, there are varieties like the haves and the have-nots, and the middle class people, etc. There is no end to the diversities in the way in which people lead their life. The relationship between individuals gets complicated and adjustment is rendered difficult because of the differences of character. The root cause of the division of human beings into different groups is here. There is nothing wrong in dividing into groups, but the sense of intolerance which leads people to try to destroy one another is horrible and must be given up. The Hitopadesha enumerates 4 plans of dealing with men depending on the differences of character. A friendly piece of advice is the first technique. This is called Sama in Sanskrit. Only a few people are amenable to this kind of correction. Some people may listen to you and act according to advice when you promise them a reward for compliance. This method is called dana. The third method is bheda, involving the inducement of rivalry between men and getting the work done through feeling of competition. The last technique is danda, issuing threat of punishment or giving punishment to make a person act according to one's wish. In the past, there was the feeling that the king was obliged to punish those subjects who were guilty of misdeeds. But today, in the name of democratic equality, even a convicted person may demand in confinement the same privileges as are available to a virtuous man. What is the basic principle that binds people together and forges bonds of amity between individuals in different units like the family, an organization, or the society. It involves the curbing of selfishness, a readiness to subordinate one's ego to the sense of duty and responsibility, rather than the insistence on one's own rights and privileges. The basic spirit that is needed is faith in God, Shraddha, Vishwas. One may own or disown belief in God, but by getting rid of selfishness, false prestige and pride, and by performing one's duty patiently, sincerely, with the desire of pleasing the supreme ruler of the world, one can attain peace of mind. One can be free from the deadly feeling of depression, anxiety, worry, and fear. In the enthusiasm of performing the worldly duties, in the rush of fulfilling the innumerable wants in life, man should always ask himself whether he is taking the right step. One must think well before taking any step and see whether it is moral or not. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.